see who we got in here so far. We got Bill Saflarski, Josh Leach, Robert Daigle, P.A. Trapper, Wise Choice Firewood, Basso Family Firewood. Good evening, guys. I am tuckered. I have been working really, really hard all day today, and we are working on getting the house ready for market. We thought we had somebody that was interested, and that didn't work out. So we are going to list the house June 1st, and we have a punch list from our realtor, who is also my father-in-law. And we're starting to work through some of that punch list. So I was downstairs putting in new lights in the basement and getting that lit up so that it's nice and bright. And we'll get that all cleaned up and ready to go. And today was a very busy day. Started at 5:15-ish in the morning when I heard Gramps' saw start. And we started stacking around 5:30. So definitely been a long day so far, but that's the way we like it. Busy is good. Denny Hart, good evening. Logger Jason, Carl Lewis, Rob outside in a 515, Jason, Yadkin Valley Outdoors, Ted Miller, good evening. So just been busy all around. Woodchuck Man, Jeff Morgan, Dennis Rexford, how's everybody doing tonight? Jacqueline Dower, Walcott Family Works. Hey, Will, how's it going? Robert Cunningham, good evening from North Texas. Well, it wasn't Texas here today, but I'll tell you right now, it was 80 degrees up here, and 80 degrees for us this time of year is very, very warm. And Yadkin Valley Outdoors is saying that he needs a boat, so I think it's raining. And Russell's Firewood, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Haven't seen you around for a while. Clarence Dobson, good evening. So, yeah, we've got a busy rest of the week. Tomorrow, it's setup day for the Northeast Forestry Expo in Bangor, Maine. Weather Friday looks great. Weather Saturday doesn't look too bad. Might be some showers, but Sunday we are going to get rain, and a lot of it. So Saturday night into Sunday, it's going to be wet, wet, wet. Hopefully the attendance to the show is good. We're going to take the Enduro blocker that we have and bring that back to Cord King tomorrow so that they can get that set up for the show. And then hopefully they've got the rest of their stuff there and set up. I'd like to do a walkthrough with their stuff and talk to Cord King and let us know what's going on and what they have in the pipeline coming up, anything new and interesting that we need to know about. And then we'll try to do the same thing for Typhoon and just get some stuff going on so that we can figure out what everybody has and what's new. I want to thank all of you guys that have used Saw Supplier and our discount. We have sold quite a few chainsaws in just a month's time. And I think we are at just about a free saw, but it's going to be more expensive because I've got to buy a Husky this time. We've got all the Echo saws that we need and that we want from the Echo lineup for Pro Saws. So now it's time to start playing with Husky saws. So for those of you guys that are out there, we're going to start like 55cc and up. Which Husky saw on that new 5 series do you think we get for Gramp to try first? I'm going to let you guys help me pick out which saw would be best for Gramp, and then we'll see what we can do. Yeah, PA Trapper, the new Typhoon processor with the log trailer is an absolute game changer. For the price of a lot of other companies, just a processor, you get a processor that's capable of running 20-inch diameter and a DOT approved log trailer with its own power pack for the loader. And man, oh man, what a nice, well built, well thought out unit. Yep, Will, I think we are doing heated handle grips this time for sure, because in the winter his hands start to bother him from the cold. So I think a heated handle would be a good thing for sure. So yeah, we'll definitely have that. It's a must, I think, for this next saw. So heated handle for sure. And we'll go from there. Brandon Hode, morning to you too, buddy. Yeah, PA Trapper, the Typhoon mobile firewood processor on the trailer platform is really, really, really nice. The European market, the fit, finish, and trim is really, really, really top notch. They don't put anything out on market that isn't ready 100% to go. And they produce a really, really nice quality product. We're going to have some inventory coming from Typhoon that we'll be putting in our yard. And we'll have some equipment here to get everything going. With the dealer status with those guys, and we're looking at some other companies as well to have equipment and be able to bring in equipment for demos and to sell both. So my whole thought process, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, is the more options that I have for a customer, the more likely I am to make a sale. And as long as it's all decent quality product, that's all that should really matter, I think. And I think it's good for the other vendors too, because it shows them what's selling, it shows them what people are looking for, and it gives them an opportunity to improve. So it's it's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. And so far, all of the vendors that I've worked with have been very, very, very good. And I think they understand that too, and they understand where I'm coming from. I'm not going to tell somebody to buy something that I don't like, or that I don't think has a purpose. But it's really nice to be able to have this company's on this side, this company's on this side, and be able to look at them both and say, which one works better for you? Because what works good for me isn't necessarily going to work good for you guys. So it's important to have options. And if you can have them right there, I think that's a really good option for everybody. So I missed a bunch of stuff because I got rambling there. Jonathan Williams, Down East Tree and Family Firewood. Better get up and do something. Yeah, I got up and did something this morning. That was enough. And then I did something the whole rest of the day, all day long. So that was a long day for sure. The 564 XP. I don't know, Derek. I am not sure I'm sold on these fuel-injected chainsaws yet. We're going to end up with an electronic saw either way when we go to Husky, but I don't know. The fuel-injected stuff, it's not that it worries me. It's tested technology, and if it's coming to the States, then they've had it over in Europe for a few years now, so they've probably got most of the bugs worked out of it. But I like a saw that I can work on. And that's just, that's me. Hopefully going forward, we can cut back on some of the sawing. Gramp has agreed to at least attempt to run a firewood processor. Not saying he's going to or he's going to like it, but he said he'd give it a try. So if we can run all of the processor grade wood through and then just hand process the nasty stuff that's real naughty or that's oversized or that's just stuff like that, it's really, really cool to think that Gramps actually willing to try it. Before it was a hard no, absolutely not doing it. And he said, well, he goes, I'd try it. So he's at least attempting. And you know what, if I can get him on that thing and he likes it, I'll pick up the saw some and I'll do some sawing if I have to, because I want to keep him feeling that he's useful and keep him around as much as possible. And Brandon Hode said get him started with an Atari joystick and Mrs. Pac-Man. So the Typhoon processor is a single joystick control. It's 3 motions. And I'm going to make a video on that when we go to the show, because the Typhoon processor is just as simple as the older Bell's Firewood processors that were a single joystick. It's just so simple. Anybody can run them. I mean, I've seen them bring kids up at the show and let kids run the Firewood processor because it's just that simple and their machines are that safe. So I really like that about the Typhoon processors. Cord King has some really nice options too, and I'm hoping one of them is at the show. If they have the really nice option I'm talking about, I want to do a full demo, full walkthrough, run that thing and show you guys just what a nice machine Cord King has as well. If you're in the market for really consistent, perfect firewood, if they have the machine that I'm hoping they're bringing, I will show you guys one of the most cost-effective firewood processors on the market that will let you make bundle grade, restaurant wood, and home heating wood all on the same machine and do it so that it's consistent every single time. That's really, really cool. I like that so much about that machine. It's, it's made my decision for what I want for my first processor really hard. Maybe I have to get two. I don't know. We'll see. Don't mind my puppy dog cup. I'm getting my water. I was doing some sweating today. Absolutely you can, Ted. Absolutely, 100%. So I saw a 555 and I saw a 562. Yeah, I think the 562, we could try it. The 562s that we ran before, Gramp killed them like now, fast. 555, those are a nice little saw. That would be akin to like his 357, somewhere in there. So we'll see. Both good options. I like both those options, and I think both of them are contenders. So it'll be one of the two. I'm not sure which one yet, but it'll be one of the two. And I just saw a frickin' Jeep. John, how you doing, buddy? So, Northeast Forestry Expo, Friday and Saturday. Setup days tomorrow. I've got Dave coming over in the morning to give me a hand with some firewood. Friday morning, before I go to the show, I have to, excuse me, I have to go deliver to the restaurant, which is actually right down the road from the expo. So I'll leave early, deliver to the restaurant, and then go to the show. I'll just bring my dump trailer with me. But I'm hoping that we have a really good turnout at the show. I'm hoping the weather cooperates. This show, for any of you guys that haven't been, is probably almost as big as Bunyan, size-wise. Attendance-wise, I don't know, but I think for actual machinery that's there and the vendors, this show is just as big as Bunyan is. So if there's stuff that you're looking for, you want to see or something like that, if you're in the New England area or if you want to take a longer drive, it's worth it. It's a big show and everybody is there. There is a vendor list. So if you look up the Northeast Forestry Expo, there is a vendor list that's listed. Everybody's going to be there, guys. Everybody. And 3 Green Acres, that little 264 TYM is an impressive little tractor. I thought it might be too small. I was offered a really great deal on it, and I couldn't pass it up. You guys know me by now. I'm cheap. I'm cheap as cheap can be. And I said, yeah. I said, for that price, I said, I'll take it. I said, we'll figure out what's going on with it. And, it was getting some warranty work done. They fixed a whole bunch of other stuff on it when it was in there too. And just, really, really impressed with the work that they did in as far as warranty goes. And I still have another year worth of warranty on the machine. So, for me, it was a no-brainer. And I'm really impressed. I didn't get it on camera because I thought I was recording again and I wasn't. But it's been one of those weeks, guys. I've been trying to record stuff and either I forget to hit the button or I don't hit the button when I thought I did and didn't look to see that it was recording. But we use the tractor to move the conveyor and the splitter in the yard so much faster than using the truck, and could put it right where we wanted it. Man, was that nice. So, really, really nice to be able to do that. I don't know if Kevin will be with me or not, Robert. I will let you know because I will gladly take help. I'm not I'm not shy to take help, especially as busy as this week has been. That's for sure. Ooh, Josh Leach is looking to spend some money on Saturday, looking to buy a conveyor. Well, there'll be plenty of conveyors there, I am sure. Um, I'll probably, while I'm there tomorrow, do a walkthrough, and maybe I'll go live and I'll just do a walkthrough of the event for everybody that's there and set up so that you guys can see just how big this show is. It's big. It's a lot of walking. There's indoor, outdoor, grandstand. There's stuff everywhere, and it's anything from sawmills to firewood processors to logging equipment to trucks, excavators, front end loaders, big, small, medium, minis, everything. So really, really good show. If you're looking for equipment, there's no better place to see it all in one spot than the Northeast Forestry Expo. So really, really good chance to check everything out and see what's going on. Another thing I wanted to mention tonight is we have been getting more and more and more orders for 14-inch firewood. Who else here is getting orders for more short firewood than normal? Because typically we only do about 10 cord a year. I'm at 25 cords right now of 14-inch firewood. And 14-inch firewood is a lot more work. It's more cutting, it's more splitting, it's more handling, it's everything. So one of the things that I'm looking for is something to eliminate some of that work. The shorter firewood is fine if you have machines that can help you do it. Doing it by hand, like we're doing right now with a splitter and a chainsaw, it doesn't help. Yes, it's easier to pick up and move because the pieces are lighter, but typically they want it split smaller if they want it cut shorter, and it's more cuts, it's more splits, it's just time consuming. And one of the things that, yep, it is more money, John, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. It's never enough, but it is more money. So my typical cords, we're at 300 to 325, somewhere in there for green firewood. We do $50 more a cord for 14-inch wood. I do $75 more a cord for 12-inch wood. The 12-inch wood is even more work than the 14-inch wood. And I've got one customer, just one, that I do 10-inch firewood for. He is an 86-year-old man, and he still wants to burn wood. His stove takes about a 24-inch piece, and he puts 2 rows of 10-inch wood in because that's what he can comfortably lift now. So I will gladly, for an 86-year-old man that still wants to heat his house with wood, I will gladly split 10-inch firewood. I only do that one order, and it's 3 cords every year. He doesn't use it as primary heat, but he does it as secondary. And I'm more than glad to accommodate and help that for sure. But yeah, so we've been busy. I took a load of wood chips. For those of you that are familiar with Maine, I went to Aroostook County, to Danforth, actually Weston, Maine, I believe it is, to East Grand Lake, and dropped off a load of wood chips, and that turned into a free weekend at a very, very nice, just built, just finished camp with accommodations for as many as 9 to 10 people. At no cost for going up with those wood chips. The guy was thankful to have them delivered, and he asked me, he said, "Do you want money or do you want to stay at the camp?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "If you want to stay at the camp," he goes, "just pick a weekend." He said, "As long as we don't have it booked through the Airbnb," he said, "come on up." So that's really cool. I thought that was nice. I said, "Yeah," I said, "I'll take the camp." I said, "The heck with the money. We're going to have a really busy summer, so it might be good to get away for a couple of days and just spend some time at the lake with the family, because we're going to have a busy summer between moving, woodyard building, finishing houses, doing everything that we need to do. It's going to be very, very, very busy. But I'm looking forward to it. I am. So we've got 2 weeks till the house is sold, or put on the market, and then we'll be moving, cleaning out this house, bringing everything to the new house, and in the meantime trying to finish the new house as well. So I think I'm probably going to try to get a Connex box or 2 and fill those with all the non-essential things that we don't need in the new house until we get everything finished, and then go from there. I did not get a chance to call Bobby today, Chuck. I was going to call and check because I have a couple other guys that are interested in that birch vertical too. So I was going to see if he got it finished, but I will give him a call tomorrow morning, and I will text you and let you know what I find out. and we'll go from there. Um, I've got a bunch of people anxiously awaiting that machine because the price point puts it below the Wolfridge and the Axis both, and I've got um, lots of people that are looking forward to that. Ken said, so going to Hope will be my rest. Going to Hope will be like another day of work, but the rest will probably be the ride there and the ride back. So gladly take that rest for the ride there and back. Hope is a great cause. Can't wait to get down there and work for a good cause. So Denny Hart asked, what about my roadside stands? Well, see, that's the good part about living in a town where you've been your whole life, Denny. I have plenty of people on either side of where I am right now that have offered for me to put the stands at their house, and I can still have my roadside stands close and get what we need to done. So what I will do for those people, two of them that have offered, I know heat with wood, so I will give them their firewood every year that they let me keep my firewood racks out in front of their house. I think that's a fair trade, and I think that's more than generous. So it worked out pretty good. I'm not really worried about people having to go a quarter mile either way because it's within eyesight of where we are. It's just either around the corner this way or a little further down the road that way, and people will still be able to get what they've always had. So roadside racks, no problem. We're still good there. I've still got one, two, three. I've got 4 more locations that want to sell bagged firewood. So after the Forestry Expo, we are going to take the cord of wood that I got to that I got in the garage that we bought that was oversized. We're going to split that all down. We're going to turn that whole cord into bagged firewood, and we're going to go get those places filled up, get them their first orders started, and get the bagged firewood underway. The customer that we dropped 50 bags off to the other day, we got a call this morning. They're sold 30 of those 50 bags already. They'd like 50 more. So we've got that one to fill back up. It's getting to be that season. And it's, I'm okay with it. It's going to get busy, but I'm going to be very busy between houses and moving and everything else. So, Brandon Hode, I used to hay all the time. Even this big guy right here can hay with the best of them. I actually enjoy hay. I don't know, for whatever reason, I like things that are difficult and hard. I don't mind hay at all. I like chucking square bales. I just do. But it's, we don't do it a whole lot anymore. Most of the farms around here have gone completely mechanical, so there's no hand thrown bales or anything like that. But I enjoy haying. Yadkin, no, bagged wood is dry wood. So I've got 6 cords of seasoned wood left at my disposal, and then we're going to be bringing in tractor trail loads of kiln dried firewood, and we'll do what we got to. We'll do what we got to do. So the kiln dried firewood, I can double my money on. I know it's dry. I don't have to worry about it burning. I don't have to worry if somebody hasn't really seasoned as much as they say. At the new wood yard, I am excited, very, very excited, because when it gets built the size that we want, and I'm not telling anybody how big that is yet, but we will be able to hold 500 to 600 full cords of tree length firewood and still have room to be able to process and turn log trucks around. So I am super, super excited for the new yard. And we're going to lay things out a little bit differently. This is the first time I've had a blank slate and been able to do things the way that I want to do them. So until we get a processor, what we're going to do is we are going to cut and buck and split into a bin and take the bins and scoop and load out of the bin with a loader. So we're going to start splitting ahead. It'll still be green wood. It won't be seasoned, but we're going to split ahead. And I want to have 40 to 50 cords of split wood in the bin at all times so that we can just scoop, load, and go. And anytime that Kevin wants to come over and split, we are going to have a setup so that he has 3, 4, 5 cords all within good reach so that he doesn't have to run and doesn't have to do anything too strenuous to get to it, or myself, and we can just split. And I think it's going to work out good. I'll bring you guys along as my vision unravels, and you can see what's going on in my head. If you guys saw it, you'd probably run, but I think it's I think it's going to work out good. We're going to up our game, and we're going to step up production as much as possible within reason. So we'll do what we need to do to make it work. I got a call today from a logger that I haven't heard from in a long time that has a whole bunch of straight oak firewood, and I don't get much oak, so I want to be able to take a few loads of that and cut and split and process it ahead. I would really like to have oak for all of my restaurant wood. I'd like to get far enough ahead so that it's all dry, it's all seasoned. I like oak the best for the restaurants. It burns the longest. It's good and hot. It's an even flame. So that's kind of what we're gonna go for, I guess. Throwing sacks of rice. I've never thrown sacks of rice. Throwing plenty of bags of sugar. So if any of you guys have ever been around a commercial bakery, bags of sugar are 50 pounds and bags of flour are 100 pounds. I will throw bags of sugar any day before I throw bags of flour. Throwing bags of flour at 100 pounds is, that's something else. So Sullivan's been watching for quite a while, Daniel. He's been commenting on the videos, and he always says good morning from the Philippines. I like seeing him comment from way over there. It just goes to show how far this channel has reached, and that's really awesome to have somebody clear around the other side of the world in a climate that's much warmer than us watching the Firewood videos. So we appreciate you very much. That to me was kind of cool when I saw it. I thought maybe one of these spam bots, and then he started commenting and everything, and I was like, holy smokes, that's pretty cool. Uh-oh, Tim and Sarah are out putting wood stands out. See, I told you, bagged firewood season's here, guys. Once you get to the middle of May, it's time, and right now it's go time. Like I said, the other locations that want bagged firewood, they're cutting and splitting, and you know they're ready. They're ready to go. So we're gonna get everything filled up and go. Yep, I do too, Daniel. I've got a couple of gentlemen from New Zealand. I've got some from Norway. I've got some from Finland. It's interesting to see how far we travel. So Goobs, we do bags of firewood. I don't do the wrapped bundles of firewood. I don't like wrapped bundles myself. I don't really like bags either because the bags don't hold up. So the new house does have a room like this that I can use. So we'll have a space, and we're going to turn the new space into a real woodhound lair, I guess, and really do some work to make it part of our own. And I say our own because with you guys here, this is, this is what I hoped it would be. To have a community like this where everybody can come and get together. If somebody's got a question, if something's going on, you can, one saw at a time, one splitter at a time, one process at a time. I enjoy these lives very much. I like seeing the conversations going through the live chat from other people on the side, and it's pretty interesting. Ron Brooks, good evening, all woodhounds. Have to leave early. CAT scan was not good today. Have to have blood work tomorrow. Go from there. More updates when I do know more. Well, Ron, like I said, and like I've told you, you'll be in our prayers for sure. Keep us updated and let us know what's going on, and we'll be thinking of you for sure. Jeremiah, good evening, my friend. So, for those of you that don't know Mr. Brooks, Ron Brooks was probably one of the first people that started following my channel, and he comments all the time. And he's always doing his own wood. He cuts his wood 9 inches, I believe it is, if I remember right. And he does his own, and he's had some heart attacks and some other things and issues, and he always is, you know, commenting on the videos and giving advice. He and another gentleman by the name of Kevin Harvey. And I really appreciate and I like seeing those regular people, and most of you guys as well that are in this live chat. You're commenting on the videos. I look forward to seeing what everybody thinks and what's going on. Iffy Kid, I see him there. I always kind of wonder what he's got up his sleeve when he's commenting. I always look at his comments, and you know, sometimes I grin, sometimes I shake my head, and then other times I just got to agree with him because he's right. So it's it's one of those things. I really enjoy the Woodhound community as a whole. And that's been one of the things that I have found the best about this whole YouTube thing, is just the camaraderie of everybody. Everybody's on the same page. Nobody's trying to be better than somebody else. We're all trying to do better and help each other out. And that's kind of, you know, goes along with my help someone if you can. It's I don't know. I like the community, and that's one of the things that drew me to YouTube. Was I was seeing some of these channels. I thought about doing YouTube years ago, and I said, I don't know. I kind of wish I had now. Outdoors with the Morgans wasn't really Outdoors with the Morgans when I thought about it, and it's one of those deals. When you look back, everything happens for a reason. I think this whole thing moving and everything else, you know, it's really good to let things happen the way they're supposed to. I don't force anything. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, that's okay. I believe that timing is everything, and when it's the right time, things will happen. A whole lot. But if you think you've got a plan and you know what the plan is, look up and tell God you got a plan. He'll laugh at you and he'll show you what's really going on. It's not your plan. You don't know what's going on. If you listen, he'll make sure you got everything you need, and he'll get you through it. So I see Tom's Firewood. Good evening, buddy. Yeah, and Wise Choice Firewood just said he feels like he knows everybody even though he hasn't met some of them. And that's the thing too. Sometimes when I meet somebody at the shows or the expos or something like that, it's like, man, that was not what I expected. After all the comments and everything else, I did not expect to see that be this guy. And you know, it's kind of interesting like that. But it's just, I enjoy all of you guys. So each and every one of you, thank you so much for showing up here on a Wednesday and a Sunday and sitting down with me for an hour. I know I'm not the most entertaining guy in the world, but I've done a little bit of everything, and I've broken just about anything that I've touched. So I can definitely point you in the direction of things not to do most of the time. So Tom's Firewood, what all needs to be done to the new woodyard still? Well, right now, Tom, if you looked at the new woodyard, it is 110% forest. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut the road in. And I'll probably do a bunch of time lapse with that. Maybe we'll do some felling videos and things like that when we're in there too. I'm definitely not Davey from Davey's Logging, that's for sure. My videos aren't going to be as nice, but we got to get it cut out. Gentleman's coming to start gravel work in about 3 weeks. When he gets there, we are going to put 1,000 feet of road in, 500 feet of road in, and then we're going to make our pad where the actual firewood operation is going to be. And I've already told everybody, not telling you how big the pad is, but when we're done, we should be able to have 500 to 600 full cords of logs piled up on that pad and still have room to process and turn log trucks around. So we're going to really get busy. Frickin' Jeep says, how often do you get 24 to 60 inch wood, or do you pass on it? I don't get that size wood because I buy my firewood. Every once in a while, I can get some bigger stuff from a tree service. It's the only free wood I get. He knows that I don't want stuff that's real nasty. But if it's straight, I'll take whatever he's got. We've got bigger bars and stuff if we need them, but I find the big rounds, the only way that they're worth it is if they're free. If you got to pay for them, no way. It's just not worth paying for wood that size because there's too much work in it. Those big rounds are a lot of work. They're tiring and they break stuff. They just do. People don't realize how hard wood is until it starts banging and thrashing around. And, you know, it's just one of those deals. Making sure I don't miss anybody. Speedy wanted to know if there was an update for my website. There is. So I met with a webpage designer last week to take over because, as you guys know, I'm selling equipment for other people, and I need to be able to link their websites to get their information there, but I don't want to send it to the company because some of the companies, they don't necessarily deal with or sell direct to the public, so I need to have their information but direct them to me. I've got merchandise that we're selling. I've got, yeah, there's so much going on. Anyway, I sat down with him for like, I don't know, an hour and a half. He scratched down a whole bunch of notes. He said, let me run with this from here and I'll get back to you. So I'm hoping next week sometime to get an update from him. I've looked at the web pages he's designed for other companies. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Fantastic. So really, really, really looking forward to getting that up and going. It's going to give us options so that we can put all of our discount codes, all of the companies that we work with, all of the things that are offered. It's going to show the things that we like. It's going to show the things that we don't like. There's going to be a list of things that we've tried that we don't like, that you don't buy if you want to have a hassle. I've got some of those things. I don't put them in my videos and I don't tell people you want this or you don't want this, but there is going to be a list of, you know, buyer beware with these things because I think it's important. Sometimes somebody will go buy something because they haven't seen a lot or they haven't heard a lot about it. There's usually a reason, within reason. Typhoon is one of those exceptions. I had not heard a lot about Typhoon up until Bunyan last year, ever. I watched the Logfather, Jeff, in Canada, and I've seen his 400 run, but that was it. That was all the Typhoon stuff that I had ever seen that was in English. I found a whole bunch that was made over in Europe in foreign languages and stuff that I didn't understand or couldn't understand. But I think once more people see these machines, see them work, and do what they need to do, you're going to be surprised. Wise Choice Firewood, have a good evening, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by. But the web page is going to be a lot of work. It is. And he even said it's going to be a lot of work. But we're working out a deal. We're going to barter and swap and trade some because he burns firewood. Fantastic. I sell firewood. So we're going to work some of that out and then do what we need to do. I think a web page is essential, especially for as much as the channel, my business, and everything has grown recently. I think having a web page is going to make everything so much easier. We're also going to integrate firewood ordering into the web page so that it's tied right to our Facebook business page and our marketplace page. People can order right online. It goes right into the queue and it spits me off an order sheet with the date that they would like it requested to be delivered. And we can confirm that delivery and or change that delivery, put it in the system and go. So ordering of firewood and all that stuff is going to be really, really cool. And Josh Leach just asked, are you going to sell firewood from the webpage? Yes, we are. We are absolutely going to sell firewood from the webpage. So if somebody's online and they're looking around and they're trying to see what's going on, they are going to be able to click and order. They can pick their length, they can pick their split size, and they can pick their quantity. And then from there, we'll have delivery radiuses with delivery fees, and they'll know exactly what their price is going to be from the time they order, and they can request the delivery date that they want. So we're going to have lots of options back and forth for people to be able to do that. So that's going to be really nice. To my knowledge, I don't think there's anyone else in our area of the state that's doing that right now, and I think that's going to be a big help for us. It should be a big help for some of you guys. So if some of you guys are looking for a web page or to be able to do some of that stuff, if it works right, I can point you in the direction of the guy that's designing my web page, and he can help you too if you're interested in something like that. So it'll be a lot of work. He said it's not going to happen quick because there's a lot that we need to get in there, but it's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. Daniel was talking about oak. You do have some of that out there. I've seen it in your splitter a couple times. So that's good. And just in case anybody's wondering, I've got a box somewhere. It's in my truck, I think. Derek from Derek's Stuff has sent us another batch of Gramp sticks Expo. I'll have some fire starters with me. Josh Leach is pressing shirts. They're going to have stickers for us as well. We're going to have a little bit of everything with us, and should be good. I've gotten lots of inquiries from local people wanting to know if I'm going to be at the show and wanting to know what's going on. So I'm hoping to see a bunch of those guys, and I'm hoping to see people from away that show up. Lots of the guys on here, some of the other channels, out in the Midwest, they don't travel to the East Coast. I am probably one of the furthest ones up on the East Coast. I'm hoping to see Phil and Karen from Allen Family Firewood. Hopefully they pop up to the show, and then go from there. So for Bunyan, the Fairfield Inn is where most of them stay. They listed it for rooms in February, and as of right now, it's sold out. I am on a cancellation list if somebody cancels or if they get an extra room open. But other than that, we are going to, excuse me, we are going to probably be at an Airbnb, and I will go to the Residence Inn to do the Friday Night Live and some of the other stuff. But the event grows every year at Bunyan as far as the YouTube channels go, and the Residence Inn is where everybody gathers. It's usually quite rowdy down there in the lobby. So that's where everything goes on at Bunyan, is the Residence Inn. Bobby will not be at the show for the Northeast Forestry Expo. And then I may or may not have my Musclewood there. It's nice for people to see the machine, but it's not for sale. I had many people want to buy it when we went to the International Firewood Expo in Ohio. But we've got Cord King and Typhoon stuff. I'll probably have my splitter and maybe the table. I haven't decided yet, and we'll go from there. Right now, lead times, I'm not sure where they're at after the show in Ohio. I'll get everybody an update for that before we go to the show, and I'll put it in a video or something like that. But right now, things are busy. I've heard lots of people say that they're kind of slow right now and nobody's buying anything. That's not the case with the companies that I'm working with. The companies that I'm working with right now, they're pretty busy. So lead times are there, and they're there for a reason. It kind of keeps everybody aware of how long they're going to potentially have to wait. And then all this tariff stuff and talks, and yeah, that makes things really interesting sometimes as far as, when machines show up, when parts show up, when things get here, when things don't get here. It creates issues. So yeah, it's one of those deals. 9 hours is a short drive, Craig. Just about everything I go is more than 9 hours. No, I have not used the table yet, John. So we're going to use the table next week. I've got some 14-inch wood. We were able to get the splitter and the conveyor right next to it to do it the way we've always done it. But I've got some random rounds that were tossed on the ground last winter, and I said that we don't toss rounds on the ground, but Grandpa's having a day and he just started chucking, so I had to chuck to get ahead of him. He was already too far ahead of me, and it's been in a pile because I haven't wanted to mess with it. So we're going to clean that pile up. We're going to load the table with the tractor, and we'll split that stuff with the table. So next week we will use the table. This week it's been do what you know and get it done, and it was the same last week. We've gone through all 27 cord that were in the yard from last week, and we've got another 17 cord out in the yard right now. I've got 12 more coming tomorrow, and I've got 16 more coming on Friday. So the yard will be full again, but before the 16 come here on Friday, we're already going to have another 8 gone. So we're running 15 to 20 full cords a week, somewhere in that range right now. And the phone does not stop ringing, and we are only getting busier. So I don't know. I'm not sure if there's going to be a dip or if things are going to slow down, but I've never been this busy this time of year yet. Usually my busy season doesn't start until the 1st of June. But this year the phone has been busy, very, very busy. And I'm thankful for it. The opposite doesn't pay the bills very well, so if I can pick up the extra business this time of year, I'm good with it. Well, Denny, that depends on if we get a processor or not. If we stay doing it by hand the way we're doing, I will do probably 800, 8 to 900 because we've got the restaurant. But I would say out of the last 100 cords that we've done, it's been 60 cord worth of new orders. So that leads me to believe that we may be well beyond that. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Last year we did 653 full cords that we cut and processed here. That's not counting wood we bought from other places and redelivered, and that's not counting wood we bought from other suppliers and redelivered. So 653 cord came out of our yard. I think total we were at 717. I'd have to look. But we picked up the restaurant. The restaurant is another 117 cord a year on average. So that's extra to add to it. I'm thinking 800-900, somewhere in there. And that could be very light, and I'm sure it will be. If we get a processor sooner than later, I'll drop my head. I'll show you guys just how much firewood I can sell. I have not advertised in a long time. So if I put my ads out, I get busier. Right now, I'm as busy as I can keep up with, so I really don't want to put ads out. But if I get a processor and I can go faster, I'll put my ads out. We'll go for a 40, 45 cord week. I'm okay with it. As long as it's paying the bills and you're profitable, I don't mind working a little bit harder. But if I'm working harder and I'm not making any money, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm not working for free. I've done that before and I won't do it again. Evening, Davey. I saw you pop in there, buddy. We were talking about you earlier. That must be why you showed up. Your ears must have been burning. I was telling him I got to clear a road and a right of way and a pad for the new wood yard. And I'd try to do some felling videos, but they probably weren't going to be as good as yours. You do excellent work with the camera. I enjoy watching your videos very much. So we'll see if Willey's Firewood can give Davies a run for his money in the woods, but I doubt it. It's one of those things, Davey. I think it's just what you get used to. I don't run saw a whole lot, so when I run saw a lot now, it hurts my back and bothers my arm. But if I do it all the time, not too bad at all. But it's the things that you don't do on a regular basis, like stacking the rounds behind Gramp. I've had guys come up and I've had people that work for me before, they can't do it. But it's one of those deals where if you do it every day, you get used to it. I go out, I hear the saw start early in the morning, and I just kind of grin. You know, I look forward to that chainsaw starting, because there's going to be a day that chainsaw doesn't start anymore out in that yard to wake me up. And it's it's one of those deals, you know. I know it's coming. Gramps not getting any younger. I know he's going to be around for quite a bit longer, I hope. But I'll take every day in the wood yard I can get with him at this point, and I'll never complain. You'll never hear me complain it's too hot to stack for him, or it's too cold to stack for him, or that we have to work in the rain. He showed me what hard work is my whole life, and I see him slowing down. There's a Luke Combs song, and it talks about the S on his chest is starting to fade. He's been my Superman my whole life, and to see him slow down and take breaks and things like that, it's it's one of those deals where it hits me. That's why I'm pushing for him to start possibly running that processor. If running that processor lets him stay around for another 5 or 10 years doing firewood, or as long as he wants to, I'd love for him to be the oldest guy on YouTube doing firewood, and for everybody to still be cheering him on. There's a gentleman up in northern Maine, Russell's Firewood, probably knows him, Carrier, John Carrier. His dad's like 84 or 85 years old, and he's still running a firewood processor just about every day. So it's really cool. I hope that we can I hope that we can keep making videos for a lot more years, or as long as this YouTube thing is around. YouTube could be gone tomorrow, but I like to see all the progression. But I look back, and I've seen, as long as I've done firewood, I saw some pictures of Gramp and I. He was a lot younger looking 10 or 12 years ago when we were doing this, when he first really started helping me. At first, he let me do it on my own, because I think he wanted to see if I was actually going to follow through with it and stay doing it. When he saw that I was, then he'd start to show up and help for a day here or a day there. And then he started showing up regular, because he knew that I was doing it. He knew we were going to keep doing it. So when he started showing up regular, that was kind of when the whole business idea really kind of came together. And ever since, you know, I've been able to work with my grandfather, have my grandfather work with me for the last 12 to 13 years on a pretty steady and regular basis. When I was working for other people, there were times that he'd be here cutting all day long or all morning long like he does now, and I'd come home and stack, or I'd come home and split and deliver, and, you know, I never see him. I'd go a couple weeks without seeing him, and he'd cut 4, 5, 6 loads of wood, whatever it is, and, you know, I'd go to drop money off, and, you know, ask him, you need anything, you know, saws needed, nope, I'm good. He'd never say if he did anyway. He usually just goes and gets it. So I try to tell him it's a business. You let me know if you need something, we'll write it off. It's really good. If you guys have family that you work with, I don't care if it's a brother, a father, a sister, a mother, a grandfather, grandmother, whoever, enjoy and cherish that time, guys. We only get one family, and like them or not, they're your family, and take the time that you got with them, because it's not promised. Take your time and do what you need to do. Enjoy it. I had Richard out on the tractor last night. He came home. He was excited because my father has a small Kubota tractor, and Richard has run the Kubota a bunch. So I want to drive the tractor. I want to drive the tractor. I told him, I said, we don't just drive a tractor. I said, if you want to use the tractor, I said, you can drive the tractor. I said, but we're going to work. I said, I'll load the bucket, and you can go ahead and you know, you'll drive the rounds down, you can dump the bucket out, and we'll go back and we'll do more. And he did that, and he would have done it for a lot longer if it wasn't getting dark and I wanted to come inside. But it's stuff like that. My grandfather and my dad would have done the same thing with me. So it's one of those deals where take the opportunity to turn something fun into something that hopefully they'll remember for a long time. It's just it's one of those deals where they don't realize it now, but looking back, when they look back years from now, they'll say, I remember when Dad used to let me drive the tractor. Or, I'll remember when Gramp used to let me run the handle on the wood splitter. When I was a little kid, to be able to run the handle on Gramp's wood splitter while they were doing firewood, that was like one of the great big deals for me. I mean, he wouldn't even say a word. He doesn't talk much now. I mean, you guys know, but I'd get the nod. When the splitter had gone far enough and he wanted me to go back, he'd just nod his head, and I'd know to push the handle back. And then he'd nod his head again, and I'd push the handle ahead. So I mean, he never said a word, but I knew what he wanted, and it's one of those things that I remember to this day. And I also remember being a little kid, and little kids are curious. Took my hand and I put it on the muffler, and it had one of those round mufflers. I got a pretty good burn on the palm of my hand from that, but I wouldn't show anybody. And he knew I did it. He asked me how my hand was, and I said it was fine. It wasn't. It was burnt good. But he kept an eye on it. He paid attention to it, and I survived, but I learned not to put my hand on the muffler again. Yeah, Davey, that's a different type of handle. I was too small for that at that age. I think I started swinging them all when I was probably 12 or 13, I guess. But Grant built that homemade splitter. We figured it was probably 52 or 53 years old. He built that splitter out of spare parts that they were throwing away at the paper mill where he worked. And he got the engine off of an old air compressor somewhere. And it's been around for a long, long time. And other than the engine, everything that's on it is original. Pump, cylinder, hoses. It's just it's one of those cool things. It's memories. So many memories with that splitter. It's not fast, but it'll never go away. Frickin' Jeep says, I found one of the keys to using a tractor to fill the table is a big, toothless, lightweight bucket. Any thoughts on getting one? Frickin' Jeep, you read my mind, buddy. I found a 1.5 yard light material bucket for subcompact tractors that says it's for snow removal and litter, which is like animal bedding. Firewood is litter, just in solid chunks. So we're gonna get one. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna try to not break my tractor because it's little, but we're gonna do some of that stuff. Yeah, I think you're right, Denny. I think he enjoys seeing things grow. Well, classic example. Okay, Grant, his income is fixed income. It's Social Security and what he makes from me cutting firewood. So he doesn't have the money that he had when he was working at the paper mill before. My splitter, the 8-way wedge on the all-wood, is a 1 11/16 socket. I thought I had one. I didn't. I have an 1 5/8, but the 1 5/8 was a 6-point and it wouldn't fit. So I went over and I asked him if he had one because he was a heavy equipment mechanic his whole life. He said, yeah, I do. So he found it. And I told him, I said, I ordered one for myself. I'll bring this one back. He showed up a couple days later. He said, you have that socket? I said, yeah. I said, mine came today. I said, here. I grabbed it out of the truck. I had it sitting in the truck to give to him. And he gets out of his car, and he goes to the back and he opens the door. He says, here, take this. He bought me a 3/4 inch impact socket set and a breaker bar and said, put that in your garage and have it. And then you got the tools that you need. He said, and just keep it. I said, well, I got the socket that I needed. I said, I already ordered it. That was the only one I really wanted. He said, nope. He says, that's what you need. I said, okay. I said, sounds good. So he still takes care of me even to this day. And, that's the type of guy he is. I mean, I'm blessed beyond any imagination to have him around and to have him do the things that he does for me. And I am more than thankful for it. That's for sure. Yeah, Ken, yeah. They said they made one. It's made to fit. I looked at the dimensions and it looks funky. It looks more like a bin than a bucket. And I'm sure it has a point and a purpose. They have a 1.5 yard and they have a 1 yard. I wanted the yard and a half just so that it would look even more ridiculous than it really is, but a yard is probably better. I don't know what the tractor will even pick up. I looked online, it says 1,800 pounds. That seems like a lot for that little tractor. And it's not going to pick up 1,800 pounds and move it without some weight on the back. So we're going to need some counterweight too. But I did. I looked at the buckets, and that yard and a half bucket, you know, that piqued my interest. But I don't want to break my tractor either. Mr. Mike, Rusty's Garage and Homestead, how you doing, buddy? So, yeah, so then frickin' Jeep says, might need to build higher sides or wings on the table. So here's my thought process, John. I don't want to overwhelm the table and or the person running the splitter to the point that rounds are rolling into the splitter too. I think the table will comfortably hold somewhere around 1/3 of a cord. And my thought is that you can always have a bucket around staged for the tractor to dump into the table. But I think keeping them as close to a single or double stacked layer as possible so they can't roll so much is probably best. I think it's really good to keep it down so that things don't roll as far. Yeah, Brandon, I won't push that little tractor very much. So as you guys know, I got the little tractor, but I have a bigger tractor too. I have an International 504 with a gas engine. That's a much larger and much stouter tractor than the little 264. So the International will probably be what feeds that table more often than not. I'm hoping next week to get the International back home, back here. I've got to repack a couple of loader cylinders on it and put a water pump on it, and it should be good to go. But I'll service it, change all the fluids, do all that stuff. And then that's probably going to be hopefully a winter project that I can bring to Dave's garage, and I'd really like to repaint it and go through the tractor and put it together. That was my best friend Todd's. He committed suicide, and I wanted something to remember him by. He had International tattooed in his arm. He had an International dump truck tattooed on his other arm. He was International through and through. It didn't matter whether it was a tractor, a truck. International was the only good machine that was out there, and that was what he liked. So when he passed away, I asked his wife, I said, can I have that 504 gas tractor? I said, I know it's not one of the big hay tractors that you guys use all the time, but I'd really like to have something that was his. So I bought that tractor. And I think that's half the reason I haven't gone to get it yet is I don't know. I haven't wanted to go get it, but it needs to come home, and I want to make it look good. I want to make it look right. So this winter coming, put it inside where it's warm, make a winter project, go through, blast it, paint it, dig out the yesterday's tractor catalog, get some new chrome stuff for it, and just make it right. So hopefully within the next week, we'll get that back home, get the water pump on it, get it running, repack those loader cylinders, and put it to use, make sure everything's going to be all right on it. And then once we know that everything's going to be okay, like I said, this winter we'll tear it down, we'll paint it, and we'll put a in memory of Todd sticker on it and a Willey's Firewood sticker, and I'll get a T&J Services. That was his business that he and his wife ran, and I'll put one of those on there too. And we'll have that tractor for as long as I'm around, because it won't be going anywhere. Even if it sits in a garage and stays covered up, we'll do what we got to do. Eric Hernandez, I have been a little busy lately, just a little bit. There's always a couple of things going on, and that's just one of those deals where my little bit every day is a lot more than some people's little bit every day. But I don't know. I like and I enjoy being busy, and I like to push myself to see what I can get done. Yes, so frickin' Jeep, in our new wood yard, we are going to have a permanent location for the splitter and the conveyor, and we're going to be splitting into a bunker, and we will scoop and load out of the bunker. So we will carry logs to the splitter, We're going to have a staging area for rounds. I've got some ideas, and I'm going to give you guys all a chance to look at all of this stuff too, and figure out what's going on with it, and look for some input. So we're going to do all kinds of stuff. Eric Hernandez, we would love to have you work with Kevin and I. And speaking of people like that, Kevin and I were splitting today, and we had a couple of guys that subscribe to our channel just show up, and want to say hi. They watched us split for a few minutes. We talked to them for a few minutes, and they waved and took off. So that was kind of cool. Haven't really had anybody just stop by and do that because they found us on YouTube. So that was kind of neat. And Iffy Kid, I am a big softie, because you know what? I am very much about taking care and helping those that help me. And I don't forget who helped me. My friend Todd, when I cut my finger off, he was the only person that called to check and see if I needed anything, and he didn't want anything in return. Offered to drop everything he was doing in the middle of a snowstorm and come plow all of my driveways for me, because he knew I had cut my finger off and I wasn't supposed to be working. But he also knew that I was stubborn. So when he called and he heard the radio, he knew that I was in the truck. He said, "Are you out plowing, you crazy bastard?" I said, maybe. He goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You're not supposed to be doing that." I said, "It's okay. The window's cold. I keep putting my hand on it, and I keep rotating my pinky to keep it cold." He says, "Man," he says, you're gonna hurt yourself." He says, "It's not gonna be good." I said, "No, don't worry about it." And it was more than just that one instance. I lost water in my house one day, and next thing I know, he pulls up with his tractor trailer and a 53-foot live tail trailer on it, and he unloaded the excavator, and he said, "Where's the well?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Where's the water line come out?" Showed him where the water line come out. We started digging. I've still got pictures somewhere. My well has a 3-foot casing, concrete casing, and you got to get in a ladder and get down in the casing, and you got just enough room to work with your hands in front of your face to get at all the fittings and stuff, but you got to take the ladder out, so you're stuck in that hole when you get in there. And I don't like tight spaces, but whoo boy, it was a little scary, but we got it, and we got water back. And I asked him, I said, "What do I owe you for bringing the excavator up?" "Not a thing." He loaded it back on the trailer and took off, and that was the last he wanted to hear about it. So he was one of the only friends I've ever had that no matter what had to happen. Dave is the same way. Dave doesn't expect anything either, and I think that's why I cherish those friendships so much. And you know, it could be 2 o'clock in the morning. If one of those guys calls and they need something, I'm there. It's one of those deals where you take care of the people that take care of you. That's an important thing for sure. And John asked if we were going to have a permanent cover for the splitter. Absolutely we are. So I'm looking at a couple of different options. I'm looking at some steel pole barn kits, and I'm looking at an Amish built pole barn, and I'm also looking at a storage container with the half round cover up over the top of the 2 storage containers. Haven't decided which way we're going yet. I think we're going to do a pole barn. That way I can get my sawmill in too, and the span is wide enough that I can get the logs in. But we'll see. That's probably not going to be this year. Moving, getting the wood yard in, and getting situated in the new house, that's priority number 1. Priority number 2 next year will be the pole barn or something to get everything in and under cover. Until then, might just do a canvas car cover or something like that just to cover them over. But we will have a permanent structure of some kind to work under. So I think the pole barn is the best fit for sure. But the one thing that's going to make it nice is once the house sells, there will be no more student loans. There will be no more vehicle payments. There will be no more property payments. Everything's paid for. So all of our money at that point is our money, and we can start putting our money to work for us where it matters. Yes, John, we will split in there. So what we're thinking about doing is running a exhaust stack out through the roof. or having the sides open so that the exhaust doesn't collect. I think it's going to be tall enough because I want to do a 12 or a 14 foot tall. It'll be tall enough that we won't have to worry about the exhaust from the engines or anything, especially with the sides open. But I want to have a cover over the top so that it keeps the weather off it if we can. Eric, we wouldn't expect you to work for free, buddy. If you work in my wood yard, you're more than welcome to get paid. Robert Daigle likes to come up and work for free too, so I try to send him home with stuff, whether it's shirts or fire pits or mini wood or something like that. Firewood's hard work, and there are some people that just really, really like to do it. My grandfather's one of them. My grandfather, if I told you the number of cords that he's cut for free for people from church or people that he worked with or little old ladies that their husbands passed away, it's probably more firewood than some people have cut in their lifetime, and he's done it for free. So it's it's one of those deals. So we've got a subscriber of the channel. Did I ever, Mike? You hang on right here. This one? We had to put that up on the blade. So see, Robert even said, I don't like people working for free. I don't think working for free is a good precedent to set. I just don't like it. Even if it's for stuff, take something, do something. So what Dave and I do is we'll trade labor back and forth or something like that. If we go to work for each other, he'll come work for me for a day, I'll work for him for a day. So tomorrow he's going to help me out a little bit, and then he's going to have arm surgery in June. He's having his elbow operated on. When he gets his elbow operated on, if he needs something, I'll just go up and do it. And, you know, we don't keep a track or a tally to say, oh, you owe me 3 days or you owe me 2 days or whatever it is. If we need something, we ask, and the other guy does it. Because I called him today. I want help with the Cord King Enduro blocker. That thing is heavy, 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 heavy. And what I need was help, and I needed a trailer because it won't fit my dump trailer, and I don't want to tow it on the spindle axles that it is all the way to Bangor, which is like a 20-mile ride. So I called him. I said, hey, I called him Princess. I said, hey, Princess, what are you doing? He says, I don't know. He said, what do you need? And I said, oh, I said, you read my mind. I said, well, what I need is I need a tilt deck trailer. He says, all right. He goes, you got to bring that thing to the show? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll be down in the morning. I said, cool. I said, and while you're at it, he goes, what's that? I said, well, I got a cord of 14-inch wood that really needs to go too. I said, I'm going to split it tonight. I said, I got to deliver that in the morning. I said, so he goes, no, don't split it in the morning. He said, wait. He said, I'll help you when I get down there. He said, I'll run the handles. I said, okay. I said, that works for me. So he's going to help me split that cord. We'll deliver it, and then we'll bring the Cord King down. But it's just, that's the type of friendships that I like. I don't like to have somebody think that they're owed something or think that they should have got something that they didn't. I think if we all just work together and understand that, you know, sometimes things are more one-sided than others, but I believe that everything works itself out in the end. So I just try to stay going and see what I can do and see what I can do to help someone. You know, when I say help someone, if you can, it doesn't matter if it's Robert Daigle or Dave or Craig's Cord for Coals. If Craig called and said, Russ, you know, I've got something going on in 3 weeks. Is there any way that you could help? If I can help, I'm going to help. That's all there is to it, guys. I can't help everybody and I can't do everything all the time, but it's one of those deals. John, you're 100% right. Anybody that says they're owed something because they came to help or something like that is usually not somebody I want to have around. Because whenever I go do something for somebody, I don't think they owe me anything because I'm there to help. So now they're fighting over who's going to help each other out. It's all right, guys. We can all help each other. And yeah, Princess. That's what I call Dave. He likes that. That's his favorite. So yeah, it's I don't know. It's cool. I like having good people around, and if if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. I've had many, many people in the 12 years that I've been doing firewood and had business of my own that have come and gone. I've had people that it was supposed to be partnerships or things were supposed to work out. At the end of the day, I'm still doing what I was doing 12 years ago, which is firewood and trying to build my business and trying to keep growing. And I have that whole time, even though there were lapses. There was a 2 or 3 year period in there where I did zero firewood. And I'm still growing the business today. And I'm still doing what I did before. So when somebody says that, you know, I was the problem or that it didn't work out because of whatever, I'm still doing what I always did. I haven't changed that. So that's the part that stays the same. And if you look at some of those people, they've gone through 3, 4 other opportunities or partnerships or whatever in the time frame. And I usually take somebody for their word. And I'm a pretty good judge of character. If my gut tells me I should probably stay away from that, I usually listen. But then there are other times that, you know, your read was wrong. And I've had a couple of those where my read was wrong, and it is what it is. Yeah, finding help for firewood is tough in general, Eric. Firewood is something that you either love it or you hate it. And, uh-oh, Boys in the Woods. I heard that the Boys in the Woods ought to do a live sometime. I don't know who Boys in the Woods are, but I'm glad you're here. And I guess your name's Matt, because I see Yadkin. So, Matt, Boys in the Woods, if they want to do a live sometime, I will gladly participate. And I will check out your videos and do all that stuff too. And we'll see what we got going on. But I think what I want to start doing is some of you guys, if you're interested and you're here and you're in the chat, if you have channels and you want to be a guest on one of these lives, either on a Wednesday or a Sunday night, you let me know and we will pipe you right in. We'll do the split screen and we'll see if we can draw an even bigger crowd into our rowdy ruckus, and we'll bring all those guys in here and see what we got to do. Eric, I have offered people as much as $30 an hour to do firewood and still can't find help. So I pay by the cord, and when you can figure out how many cords an hour you can do, if you're working hard with me and my machine, you can make $50 an hour. Not bad money at all. I've got people that still won't do it. So I don't think it's the money. I think with firewood, it's got to be something that you like, and that's it. If you don't like it, you're not going to do it. Firewood is work every single day, and it's not going to change. So if you don't like work, you're not going to like firewood. That's the easiest way that I can put it. My grandfather told me a long, long time ago, if it involves hard work, sweat, and pain, chances are you're going to stay as busy as you want to stay because nobody wants to work that hard. And he was 110% right. I've never been so slow that I wondered what I was going to do. There have been times that have been slower than others, but more often than not, it's just like this spring right here. The phone rings off the hook and I don't know why. We get busier every single year, and I don't even advertise anymore, guys. I have no advertisements out there. So it's it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Ted, come on up, buddy. If you guys want to start a firewood empire, I think if we put a group of woodhounds together, do you know what we could do if we put a group of woodhounds together and we actually had the equipment that we needed and a log supply? Do you know how much firewood we could make? And we'd all be making money. That's the best part. So it's a scaled to size thing. When you start looking at a single operator running a splitter and a saw by themselves doing this, you add another person, all of a sudden what you can do grows. You add 2 people, it grows again. It gets to the point that, okay, now your machines, your equipment, whatever, it needs to change for you to keep growing. But if you have good help and you can keep scaling, how do you think these bigger businesses got to the point that they were at? You don't get to that point by one person doing all the work. You get to that point because you've got a group of people with a common goal that keep pushing the envelope. And I'll tell you right now, John Solomon just said, looks like rednecks with paychecks. The paychecks we could have would be absolutely crazy. Because if you had a group of guys that was really willing to put their heads together and work, you could do all of the bundles and all of the bagged firewood for the Lowe's and the Home Depots and the big stores where the money is. You could do all of that stuff together as a group, and man, oh man, could you make some money. See, Speedy says he has the same problem, trying to get shovelers for snow. $30 an hour cash money and can't find people. I couldn't find people for snow removal either, Speedy. That's why I don't do commercial snow removal anymore. And there's Kevin Violet. Just got up to go to work. What's up, buddy? Yeah, so that's the thing, Yadkin. When you start picking that business model up and you keep growing, everything else has to grow with it. So the wood moves faster. The logs move faster. The saws move faster. Everything goes faster. And you basically create a beast. I created a beast at one point with my processor to the point that I was working way too many hours every single day trying to keep that thing fed and doing everything that needed to be done. And it got to the point that it burnt me out because I was trying to do it without enough help. I couldn't find help back then either, but I had the machinery. And then when I lost my log supply, whoo, boy, things got rough quick. So I think it would be scary if you put a good group of 10, 12 guys together that really knew firewood, that really knew what they were doing, and get one good bean counter that knows money and knows books, and put it all together. Man, oh man, oh man, would that be awesome. 902, you ever want to come cut wood for free, you come see me, and it won't be for free because you'll leave with some Willey's firewood swag. We'll hook you up. You can come cut and split to your heart's content, but nobody works for free in this yard. I know there are plenty of guys that would just love the opportunity to come and work and do some stuff, but nobody works for free. Hudson, 6 years old, still up. Oh, you guys are probably behind us time-wise, so that's okay. That's allowed, because I was going to say, Big Rich has been asleep for a little while. But Hudson, you have a good night, buddy. I appreciate you stopping by with Dad. And I hope you got one of those stickers from Dad. And if you didn't, you have Dad send an email, and I'll make sure you get your own sticker, too. 902, Gramp stick, whatever you need, buddy. Whatever you need. Brandon, if I was closer to you, I would have all of your ash sitting in my wood yard because ash is my favorite firewood to cut. And you've got so much of it over there, I just, man, oh man, I can't believe that nobody is taking advantage of that. I ought to look and see where the guy that bought my old firewood processor is in New York. Maybe he's close to you. That might be something he's interested in. Aha. Yeah, there you go. So Hudson has one of my stickers. We're good. I wouldn't want one of my little junior woodhounds to not have a sticker. Those stickers are important. They mean a lot. I even carry my own sticker with me sometimes. I got one of my original ones right here. I keep it right with me. So I understand the power of a sticker. I've got ash up here that's still alive. We haven't really gotten the ash borer in our area. I actually got some ash in the load that we got. And, you know, it works pretty good. Well, I think it'd be a good chance for one of those Typhoon logging winches and a forwarding trailer. Wayne County. All right, I'll find out where Connor is. I know Connor's in New York. I don't know where. He bought my old Bell's 4000 series. And he's got quite a little firewood operation going on. He's always buying logs. So, yeah, I'll find out. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where he is, but I gotta write that down. Wayne County. Hang on. All right, I got it. I made myself a note. Steel 311. So what's how many cc's is a 311? Because honestly, I don't care how big of a saw you cut with. For the money, I don't think that you can go wrong with an Echo 620. So if you're using a 60cc saw already, here's what I would suggest. I would suggest buying the Echo 620. And if you buy it from sawsuppliers.com and you use Willey 10, you'll get 10% off and free shipping. That saw for the money, there is not a saw on the market from any vendor that is as good as that 620 as dollar for dollar. You're going to get into it for under $600 with a bar and chain. And out of the box, it's probably one of the strongest running 60cc saws that I think I've ever had. It's simple, it works, and it's really good on fuel. So if you're looking for something that same size, absolutely hands down all day Echo 620. And I saw some other guys chime in already. I've been telling people about the 620 for a long time. I've run the Shindawa 600SX saws for years, which is the same thing. They're tough. They're really, really good saws. Have you ever seen the big splitter we built down at my friend Jeff's? I think I did in a video a while back, frickin' Jeep. I try to keep up with your videos too, but you're like me. You make a lot of them. You make a lot of them, so. Oh, Neighborly Homestead was stacking with the lights. Sometimes I go out with the lights right now because the black flies go away. So it's worth going out there at night once it cools off and the black flies go away. Because I'll tell you right now, the black flies up here are vicious. And I mean vicious. Yeah, so PA Trapper just said he couldn't believe what he got on one tank of fuel. There are times that I see Gramp slowing down. He's getting older now. And I'll see him. He'll kind of be listening, looking at the saw because he's waiting for it to run out of gas. He's ready for a break. And whew, that Echo 620 on a single tank of fuel, we get well over, if the wood's the right size, we get well over a quart of wood, a full quart of wood out of one tank of fuel. So it really is a really, really nice saw. And we've run a lot of wood through them. I've run hundreds, if not thousands of cords through the 600 SXs that I have. And really, really works good. Yeah, American Country 716 ash is my favorite firewood to split. Split's so nice. The ash up here just pops right open. Really, really nice wood. Our maple can sometimes be that way, but sometimes our maple is really nasty to split. So really, 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 really nice firewood. Anybody have a processor in Western New York? American Country 716 just got 4 loads of wood and he thinks he's in a little over his head. So 4 loads of wood's not a lot. It's a good amount, don't get me wrong, and it looks like a lot, but you can do it. I know you can do it. Just a little bit every day. That's all it takes, just a little bit every day. So, but all right, guys, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. We went quite a bit over here, but we were having good conversation going back and forth, so I think it was worth it. And maybe we pointed Eric to be part of the Echo clan. The Echo saws are becoming more and more and more popular all the time, and it's really, really cool to see more people catching on to that. Yeah, absolutely. Neighborly Homestead. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you cut a pile of logs? One stick at a time. So appreciate you guys all stopping by. We will see you on the next one. Like I said, maybe Thursday we'll go live at the expo and I'll do a little sneak preview of the show and we'll do a little walkthrough and see who's there already and see what we can stir up for trouble and see if they get mad at us for being in there early with a camera. So we'll see you Thursday and have a good one, guys.